So quite a few years ago, I was with a gentleman and I was working with him, and we were spending a lot of hours together. And in that time, he finally asked me one day, oh, it was probably 6 months in to our working relationship, and said, have you ever been tested for ADHD? And I said, no, not at all. And he goes, do you think that you possibly may have that? And I said, quite possibly. I would assume so, though I've just never gotten tested for it. He said, why not? And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, because I didn't want to be labeled having ADHD or any other issue. I already was the victim, and I hated that label that people had put on me because of the sexual abuse. I'd rather be known as a survivor, a thriver in life, who is alive, who is strong because of what Jesus Christ has done for her. Well, anyways, bottom line, he said, I suggest you ask your doctor and get yourself tested. It'd be good to know. I thought about it for a while and thought, what a waste of time. And my prayer time, I was talking to God about it. And sure enough, it seemed like it was more of a go check it out kind of a situation. So I did. And I'm so glad I did, because now there was more of a name for some of the things that I have a habit actually in doing, as well as a sensory disorder. And then I found out that I was on the autism spectrum, which made more sense than anything else. Where I could see autism in other people, I could see the ADHD in other people. I could even see their sensory disorders as I'm working with them because of the sexual abuse. And I saw it in myself, but I never actually could say, yeah, that's me. Now, with much research and counseling, it is understandable that a traumatic event will change somebody. And we've talked about that in many other videos. But in this video, I wanted to share with you, because I've been urged by many, what it is that I have around me to work out some of those sensory disorder type things that I have, and or be able to focus in on work daily. And so I'm going to share some of those with you, and I think they're fun. I don't see them as a negative. I think they're a blessing that I've been able to come across these things, and they're fun to play with. They actually help me to relax and stay focused. So let me share some of those. So we're going to start with soft. For my sensory issues, I really like soft. Do I like it in my office? Not at all. In fact, I don't like it part of my work day in the spectrum of around my office. So with soft, even though I like it a lot, it might confuse somebody to give me a very soft mouse pad to work with at my desk. I don't enjoy that at all. I like harder surfaces at work and when I'm focused. Soft is more for relaxing, and it just doesn't work for me when I'm trying to stay focused. So let me show you some of those soft items. And of course, there's soft items that are at home. So this is one of my pillows. It's large. It's a big, giant pillow. And the texture is super silky soft. I also have several soft blankets. So here is a soft blue one, and here is a Sherpa type one. And here is another one that is super silky and soft. This is my rug in my bedroom. This is one of them. I have 3 of them in there. This is one of the rugs in my bedroom. It's soft. It also has that silky feel to it. And again, it's in my bedroom because that's where I want to feel calm. That's where I'm going to go to sleep that night. Those other blankets are spread out about the house to places where I sit and I'll read or sit and watch a movie or something with my husband. Again, I feel kind of silly showing these things to you, but I have been requested more than 10 times for people that have asked me, can I please share some of my things? Now, here are the things I like to use in my work area. So let me show you some of those. This one is one of my favorites right now. I go through phases of what's my favorite, and it's pops, these little things, and it also sticks to my desk like that. And it's kind of like a little fidget. I have this one. I'm not crazy about it because none of the bubbles, you can only press one bubble in at a time. And that is irritating to me. And so this guy, he lost one of his eyes and he is leaving the pile. This is one of my pins. It's squishy, as you could see. I have a frog that looks like this as well. Sometimes I just like to use a squishy pin. It helps me to sit there and just think. And while I'm thinking, this actually takes some of the distraction of everything else around me away, and I'm able to really focus. These are one of my squishy balls. I don't pull out the big ones unless I really need a big one because they're really inconvenient to have on the desk, but they are super fun. Unfortunately, I end up popping a lot of them. This is one that got popped. This one's a real fun one. He squishes up real nice. This one I can't stand. The pokey part of it is soft, but it just flows a little too easy. And this one is out the door as well with the rabbit. This one I can't use a lot because it's not, because it lights up. I don't know what it is. These ones are really cool. They are super soft. They remind you of the texture of this one here, but they're super soft and stretchy, and I'm able to tie them in knots. I'm able to do so many things with these, and you can just have them in your hand. As I'm talking in a meeting, I could have it in my hand, and I can keep it below the camera even when I'm filming and nobody sees, and it just helps me to stay more focused and lose the lights, the camera, and everything else that's going on. Of course, there's always slime, but not all slime is created equal, and slime does dry out. So here's a big tub of slime that I have, and at times I'll just pull out a wad of slime. This slime here is not super wet, which I like a lot. And I am able to stick it in these extremely silly balls. I'm able to stick it in these little balls. And what are you able to do? I'm able to squish them. And while I'm squishing them, it's making it bubble come out of these little balls' mouths. It's silly, I know. But when you bring it in, it sucks it up and you're able to do it all over again. But it's not like having the whole slime on your hand. It's just a little bit of it, and then I just poke it back in the mouth. Then for my birthday, I got the biggest ball that I've ever gotten before. This one is incredibly heavy. I'm sure you can hear it's filled with little balls inside, jelly balls, and it's super heavy. And it's going to be like this one, where I don't pull it out all the time. And I got to be careful so that I try not to pop it. I pop a lot of balls, it seems like, when I'm not paying attention and I'm just sitting there working and thinking of an idea. And I got this going back and forth in my hands. But this is my latest one, and I really like it a lot. So with all of this, I could tell you that, yeah, a lot of things around me could stimulate me. The flowers you see in the background, that color back there, that is overstimulation for me. So are the flowers on the wall. So is having something to read that's right there behind me for relaxing. However, I don't see it because it's behind me and it's off to the side over here. So I'm able to have those things in this room and be okay with it. So how do people like us adapt? Well, like I showed you, some of those incredibly enjoyable objects, you may call them toys. That's okay. Maybe I'm just still a kid at heart and still want to keep playing with toys. But it does help me to keep focused on what I'm trying to do at work at times. Another way is a lot of times sound gets to me. So these head counseling earphones were a great investment for me. It's not just for the music I could play on them more than anything. It's to cancel out the sound. Sometimes sound just becomes too much and I'm not able to focus, and or sound just becomes exhausting for me and I feel like I've worked so hard, but all I've done is try to block out sound while I was trying to stay very focused on another thing that was not that sound. So at times I could say I love hearing the sound of the ocean, or I love hearing the sound of wind chimes. I do. I really do. That's why sometimes you'll see me wearing large earrings like these here. And the reason why is because they sound like wind chimes, and I really do enjoy the sound of wind chimes. So it just has to be the right moment. It's hard for people to try to figure it out. As I've gotten older as an adult, I've been able to figure it out and make not just my life easier, but those around me not suffer as much. How can I explain that? Well, when I was younger, I would do things that would irritate the adults around me. And one example would be to put a pin in my hand with a bounce back lever on it would just be automatic. I would have to put down the pin and then stare at the pin forever as I looked at it, thinking, don't pick it up. Don't pick it up, because you'll start doing it and you won't recognize that you're doing it. And then you won't recognize how fast you're doing it. And people in the room will be, stop it. That is so irritating. When it wasn't irritating to me, there is nothing like clicking a pin, having it in your hand, and being able to think of ideas. It's just like one of those little square sensory items that they have now for children. They work so well. I gotta put this pin down. I'm starting to trigger it. So bottom line is I know as an adult that bothers people a lot. So I won't pick up the pin in a meeting until I'm ready to use it. And then I have learned not to press the top cap of the pin, but go ahead and grab something else with my left hand, which I can keep under the table, or I can go ahead and put my hand in a pocket and feel a quarter that is there and just feel the edges of the quarter, flip the quarter in my fingers that are in my pocket, be able to function in a world that sometimes would not accept this type of behavior. These are little things that people may not notice, but I certainly do. And I could certainly see it when I'm working with others that they're trying the same way. So I don't know if this was helpful for you. If you live with someone on the autism spectrum or who has a sensory issue, which could not only go with touch, but it is all your senses when it talks about the sensory issues, or who has ADHD, maybe you could show them this video and let them know that they are not alone. I am so thankful for the help that God has given me and the wisdom He's given me to be able to share my story about how I found out. It helped me to reach out to those who I was engaged with to talk with them about it and share how God has helped me being able to work in a lot of different environments without driving people nuts. Okay, here's your bonus one. There is so many different things and objects and textures, you name it, that I could have an issue with or not. And that is, I just got this great cup. Look at this great cup I just got for my birthday. I love it. And I love the person who gave it to me. And I didn't realize that I would have an issue with it, but the straw is soft. Though the liquid comes out just fine, I cannot stand the straw. The texture of it doesn't work for me at all. So much so that I can't drink anything else out of this cup, even to be polite at this point. Just got to replace the straw, put in a hard one, and I'll be good to go. But things like that happen. Now I would consider that normal to me, but to other people, that is odd to them. God makes each one of us different. Remember, because He lives, it does change everything.